Hey everyone, and welcome. You've probably heard the story of Jesus feeding that huge crowd with just a couple of fish and a few loaves of bread, right? It's one of the most famous miracles of all time. But what if the story we think we know is just, scratching the surface? Let's take a closer look, because when you dig into the original text, there's a fascinating surprise waiting for us. So let's just start with this big question. What if the miracle wasn't about magically creating food out of thin air? What if it was about something way more radical and something we could actually do ourselves? That's the question we're going to tackle. And honestly, the answer might completely change how you see this story. All right, so let's just quickly set the scene. We're pulling this from the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus is trying to get away to a remote place, but this huge crowd, we're talking thousands of people, follow him on foot. Evening rolls around, and the disciples start to get, a little nervous. There is absolutely no food. And this is the part we all remember. The disciples basically say, hey, let's send everyone home to get dinner. But Jesus takes what little they have, just 5 loaves and 2 fish, and somehow, miraculously, everyone eats until they're totally full. It's the classic divine miracle story. But let's look a little closer. Okay, this is where our investigation really gets interesting. Because when you peel back the layers of translation and you go all the way back to the original Greek text of the gospel, a really critical detail pops up. Or maybe it's better to say, a critical detail is missing. Now, to get what Jesus is doing here, you have to remember his whole mission. He says it right here in Matthew. He didn't come to get rid of the existing Jewish law, the Torah, but to fulfill it, to show everyone what it truly meant. This means his miracles weren't just random acts of magic. They were powerful lessons, totally rooted in ancient tradition. And here it is. This is the big clue. We all just assume Jesus magically multiplied the food. But the original Greek text, it never, ever uses a word that means multiply. It's just not there. All it says is he performed 4 very specific actions. He took the food, he blessed it, he broke it, and he gave it. The fact that that one word is missing, well, it changes everything. So if Jesus was fulfilling the law and not just doing magic tricks, then we really need to understand what that law actually said about things like food, poverty, and community. And it turns out that Torah had this incredibly powerful blueprint for creating abundance and making sure scarcity wasn't a problem. This blueprint, it was basically built on 3 core ideas. You had the Sabbath, which guaranteed rest and care for absolutely everyone. Then you had the Jubilee, which was this radical economic reset. It forgave debts and stopped poverty from becoming a trap. And then there was gleaning, which literally hardwired sharing right into the food system. This wasn't just a list of rules. It was a whole social technology designed to make sure there was always enough for everyone. So what happens when we put these 2 big clues together? We've got the missing word multiply on one hand and this cultural blueprint for sharing on the other. Well, the whole scene just transforms. It reveals a different kind of miracle, but one that's no less profound. Let's walk through how it might have actually unfolded. Okay, picture this. A small gift is offered up front. Jesus takes it, and in this very public, very visible act, he blesses it. That's a ritual of gratitude, and it acts like a signal to the entire crowd. It's time to share. That one act of faith just flips the switch in people. Suddenly, all the folks who had brought their own food, but were maybe hiding it out of fear there wasn't enough, they start to bring it out. The disciples then jump in to organize this massive, efficient distribution. And what's the result? A cascade of generosity. Everyone shares, everyone eats, and everyone is satisfied. And the leftovers, they collected 12 baskets full. Now, that number is not random. It's incredibly symbolic. 12 represents the 12 tribes of Israel. It's a signal of a complete systemic restoration for the entire community. It's the perfect echo of that Jubilee principle. When we all share according to the rules of justice, there isn't just enough. There's a surplus. There's abundance. You see, this interpretation doesn't make the story smaller. If anything, it makes it so much bigger. The miracle shifts from being a one-time magical event that we can only stand back and admire to a timeless lesson about where real, true abundance actually comes from. And this all leads us to the core lesson of the story, what some theologians call the kingdom principle. It's this powerful idea that scarcity is often just an illusion. It's a byproduct of our own fear and our tendency to hoard. But when a community is activated, when it practices justice and trust, and everyone participates, that illusion just dissolves. And what's left is a natural flow of abundance.
So in the end, the miracle turns out to be something so much richer than magic. It's this powerful social teaching that fulfills ancient law. It shows us how one small act of faith can ignite an entire community's generosity. It's both a parable and a practical model, showing us how we can create real abundance and solve our biggest problems, not by waiting for a supernatural fix, but by trusting each other and taking action together.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. This story isn't just about the past. It's a direct challenge to us, right here, right now. It asks us to look at the world's biggest problems, hunger, poverty, inequality, and to seriously consider that maybe, just maybe, we already have enough to solve them. The real question is, are we willing to share it? If this principle is true, where is that small gift, our 5 loaves needed most, to start a cascade of generosity today?